Verbal abuse in relationships: recognizing, understanding, and overcoming. Relationships are the cornerstone of human connection, providing support, companionship, and love. However, not all relationships are healthy. Verbal abuse is a form of psychological manipulation that can erode the self-esteem and well-being of individuals. Unlike physical abuse, which leaves visible marks, verbal abuse can be insidious, leaving emotional scars that are just as painful and long-lasting. This video delves into the nature of verbal abuse in relationships, its signs, effects, and steps to overcome it, aiming to provide a comprehensive understanding to help those affected recognize and address this issue. Understanding verbal abuse. Verbal abuse is any language used to demean, insult, or control another person. It encompasses a wide range of behaviors, including yelling, name-calling, making derogatory remarks, constant criticism, and manipulation. The abuser may use these tactics to gain power over their partner, diminish their partner's self-worth, or instill fear and dependence. Verbal abuse can occur in any relationship, regardless of gender, age, or socioeconomic status. It's often subtle, making it difficult for victims to recognize and acknowledge. Many people mistake verbal abuse for normal relationship conflict, but there is a clear distinction. Verbal abuse is a pattern of behavior aimed at maintaining control and dominance over another person. Signs of verbal abuse. Recognizing verbal abuse is the first step toward addressing it. Some common signs include: 1. Insults and name-calling. The abuser frequently uses derogatory names or insults to belittle the victim. This can range from outright name-calling to more subtle put-downs disguised as jokes. 2. Yelling and screaming. Raising their voice to intimidate or scare their partner, often during arguments, is a common tactic of verbal abusers. 3. Criticism. Constant criticism of the victim's actions, appearance, or beliefs, often under the guise of helpful feedback, can undermine their self-esteem. 4. Gaslighting. Manipulating the victim into doubting their perceptions, memory, or sanity. This can make the victim feel confused and dependent on the abuser's version of reality. 5. Blame shifting. The abuser consistently blames the victim for problems in the relationship, making them feel responsible for the abuser's behavior. 6. Threats. Verbal threats of physical harm, abandonment, or other negative consequences to control the victim's actions and emotions. 7. Isolation. The abuser may use verbal tactics to isolate the victim from friends, family, and support systems, increasing their dependence on the abuser. 8. Undermining and sabotage. Deliberately undermining the victim's confidence, accomplishments, or efforts, making them feel incapable or worthless. The effects of verbal abuse. The impact of verbal abuse can be profound and long-lasting. Victims may experience a range of emotional, psychological, and physical effects, including: 1. Low self-esteem. Constant criticism and belittling can erode the victim's self-confidence and self-worth. 2. Anxiety and depression. The stress and emotional turmoil caused by verbal abuse can lead to mental health issues such as anxiety, depression, and even post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. 3. Isolation and loneliness. Verbal abuse often isolates victims from their support networks, leaving them feeling lonely and without a sense of community. 4. Physical health problems. Chronic stress from verbal abuse can manifest in physical symptoms such as headaches, stomach issues, and a weakened immune system. 5. Emotional dependency. The manipulation and control tactics used by the abuser can make the victim emotionally dependent on them, trapping them in the abusive relationship. Personal anecdote, a survivor's story. I once spoke with a woman named Nikita, who shared her experience of verbal abuse in her marriage. Nikita described how her husband, John, would frequently belittle her in front of their friends and family. He would make cruel jokes about her appearance and intelligence, leaving her feeling humiliated and worthless. Initially, Nikita brushed off his behavior as harmless teasing, but over time, she began to internalize his words. John's criticism wasn't limited to public settings. At home, he would constantly undermine her efforts, whether it was her cooking, her parenting, or her career. Nikita started doubting her abilities and felt increasingly anxious. She became isolated, as John discouraged her from seeing her friends and family, claiming they were a bad influence. The turning point came when Nikita questioned her sanity, unable to trust her perceptions and emotions due to John's constant gaslighting. It took Nikita years to recognize that she was a victim of verbal abuse. With the support of a therapist and a close friend who had noticed the signs, she gradually rebuilt her self-esteem and found the strength to leave the abusive relationship. Today, Nikita is an advocate for victims of verbal abuse, sharing her story to help others recognize the signs and seek help. Overcoming verbal abuse. Escaping from verbal abuse requires courage, support, and strategic planning. Here are some steps that can help victims reclaim their lives. 1. Acknowledge the abuse. Recognizing that you are being abused is the first and most crucial step. Understand that verbal abuse is not a normal part of any relationship. 2. Seek support. Reach out to trusted friends, family, or support groups. Talking to someone who understands can provide emotional relief and practical advice. 3. Set boundaries. Communicate your boundaries to the abuser. Let them know that their behavior is unacceptable and that you will not tolerate it. 4. Develop a safety plan. If the abuse escalates, have a plan in place for how to safely leave the situation. This may involve finding a safe place to stay, gathering important documents, and saving emergency funds. 5. Consider professional help. Therapists, counselors, and domestic violence organizations can offer guidance and support tailored to your specific situation. 6. Empower yourself. Engage in activities that boost your self-esteem and independence. This could be pursuing a hobby, furthering your education, or building a supportive social network. 7. Legal protection. In some cases, obtaining a restraining order or seeking legal advice may be necessary to ensure your safety. 8. Therapy and healing. Healing from verbal abuse is a long process that often requires professional therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and other therapeutic approaches can help rebuild self-esteem and address any underlying psychological effects. If you found value in this video, please give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe to support this channel. Please share across social media platforms to reach a wider audience. The role of society. Society plays a crucial role in addressing and preventing verbal abuse. By raising awareness and educating people about the signs and effects of verbal abuse, communities can foster healthier relationships and provide better support for victims. Here are some ways society can contribute. 1. Education and awareness campaigns. Public campaigns and school programs can teach individuals about healthy relationship dynamics and the harmful effects of verbal abuse. 2. Support services. Providing accessible support services, such as hotlines, shelters, and counseling, can offer immediate help to those in need. 3. Legal frameworks. Strengthening legal protections for victims of verbal abuse and ensuring that abusers are held accountable can deter abusive behavior. 4. Encouraging open dialogue. Promoting open conversations about mental health and abuse can reduce stigma and encourage victims to seek help. 5. Empowering bystanders. Educating people on how to recognize and intervene in abusive situations can create a community of support for victims. Verbal abuse in relationships is a serious issue that can have devastating effects on victims. Recognizing the signs and understanding the impact of verbal abuse are crucial steps toward addressing and overcoming it. By sharing stories like Nikita's, we can help others realize they are not alone and that there is hope and support available. Society must play an active role in raising awareness, providing support, and creating legal protections to combat verbal abuse. Together, we can foster healthier relationships and ensure that everyone has the opportunity to live a life free from abuse. Supporting a loved one who may be experiencing verbal abuse in a relationship requires empathy, patience, and strategic action. It's important to approach the situation with sensitivity and offer consistent support without pressuring them. Here are some ways to effectively support a loved one facing verbal abuse. 1. Listen without judgment. Create a safe space. Ensure that your loved one feels safe and comfortable talking to you. Find a private, quiet place where they can speak openly without fear of being overheard. Validate their feelings. Acknowledge their feelings and experiences. Use phrases like, "I believe you," or, "That sounds tough." Avoid blaming or criticizing. Don't blame them for staying in the relationship or criticize their choices. Verbal abuse can deeply affect self-esteem, and they need your support, not judgment. 2. Educate yourself. Learn about verbal abuse. Understand the signs, effects, and dynamics of verbal abuse. This knowledge will help you provide informed support and guidance. Recognize the patterns. Knowing the common tactics of verbal abusers can help you identify the abuse and validate your loved one's experiences. 3. Offer emotional support. Be patient. Leaving an abusive relationship can be a complex and lengthy process. Be patient and provide ongoing support, even if they decide to stay for a while. Encourage self-worth. Help them rebuild their self-esteem by reminding them of their strengths, achievements, and worth. Positive reinforcement can counteract the negative messages they receive from the abuser. 4. Encourage professional help. Suggest therapy. Encourage them to seek professional counseling or therapy. A therapist can provide a safe space for them to process their emotions and develop coping strategies. Provide resources. Share information about local support groups, hotlines, and domestic violence organizations. These resources can offer specialized assistance and support. 5. Help develop a safety plan. Discuss safety options. Help them think through and plan for their safety. This might include identifying a safe place to go in an emergency, having important documents ready, and setting aside emergency funds. Respect their decisions. While it's important to discuss safety, respect their decisions and timeline. Pushing them to leave before they're ready can be counterproductive. 6. Maintain regular contact. Check in regularly. Stay in touch through calls, texts, or visits. Regular contact can help them feel less isolated and remind them that they have support. Be available. Let them know they can reach out to you anytime. Being a consistent and reliable source of support can make a significant difference. 7. Respect their autonomy. Empower their choices. Encourage them to make their own decisions and support those choices, even if you don't agree with them. Empowerment is crucial in helping them regain control over their life. Avoid ultimatums. Issuing ultimatums or pressuring them to take specific actions can make them feel more trapped and isolated. Offer options and support instead. 8. Encourage small steps. Set realistic goals. Encourage them to take small, manageable steps towards change. This could be seeking counseling, talking to a trusted friend, or attending a support group. Celebrate progress. Acknowledge and celebrate any progress they make, no matter how small. Positive reinforcement can boost their confidence and motivation. 9. Be mindful of your safety. Protect yourself. If the abuser becomes aware of your involvement, they may view you as a threat. Be cautious and prioritize your safety while supporting your loved one. Seek advice if needed. If you feel overwhelmed or unsure how to help, consider seeking advice from a domestic violence professional. 10. Stay hopeful and encouraging. Provide hope. Remind them that change is possible and that they deserve a life free from abuse. Offer hope and encouragement as they navigate their journey. Be a source of positivity. Being a consistent source of positivity and support can help them see a brighter future and take steps towards it. Personal anecdote: supporting a friend. My friend, Lisa, confided in me about her verbally abusive relationship. Her partner would constantly belittle her and make her doubt her worth. I remember feeling helpless at first, but I decided to educate myself on verbal abuse and offer my support. I listened to Lisa without judgment, validating her feelings and letting her know that I believed her. I shared resources and encouraged her to seek therapy. We developed a safety plan together, and I made sure to check in with her regularly. It took time, but with consistent support, Lisa found the strength to leave the abusive relationship and rebuild her life. Today, she is much happier and healthier, and our friendship is stronger than ever. Supporting a loved one through verbal abuse is challenging but incredibly important. By offering a listening ear, validating their experiences, and providing consistent support, you can help them regain their self-worth and take steps towards a healthier, happier life. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe to our channel for more self-improvement videos. Comment below to tell us how useful you found this video. Remember to share on various social media platforms to reach a wider audience. Click the notification bell to get notified anytime we post a new video. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video.